All right, everybody, this is Camper 6.0 Part 6. It's been 3 weeks since I've done an official update video, so I just want to touch base with you guys here. I did release a short which showed this camper out in the natural light, but I will give you guys a little bit more of an opportunity to see it more than just that short. So as you guys can see, and if you haven't seen the short that I put out with the camper, here is the camper. So a little tradition I started with 5.0 is I've actually begun to remove these campers once I get the outside completed, where it's essentially weatherproof out of the garage, just to kind of give me a little bit more space to work. The trailer there is not going to be its permanent home. This is of course a truck camper, but the trailer is a nice platform to stage a camper on. I can move it around if I need to, but also it puts the camper up high enough so when I do go to put it on the truck, I can just roll the trailer down to where the truck will be, and the camper jacks will slide right under. But before we get into the camper, let me show you guys a little something here. This is a little project I'm working on. This right here will be the inside countertop. And what I decided to do, this is kind of an experiment, I've never done this before, is I always like to reuse materials and scrap. And I found out that I have just a ton of pieces of cedar, plywood, and some hardwoods. Right here. Here's a nice piece of oak. Just a ton of scrap around the garage. Most of it from this current project. But I thought to myself, I planed them all down to a even thickness, and I ripped them down to an even width. And I said, why don't we just laminate together a nice countertop? Now, obviously, this has not been finished. It's only about maybe 2/3 completed in terms of what will be its overall size. And of course, I need to sand it down and smooth it out and put poly on there. But I did want to kind of give you guys just a general thought of where it's going here. I did rip these down to 1 3/8 of an inch. I will probably build this countertop in 2 or 3 parts, and then I will run it through the planer. So I expect the end thickness of the countertop to probably be somewhere in the 1.25" range. But I think it's going to work out really nice. It is time consuming. It is more time consuming than if I would have just bought wood and laminated together. However, I think it will give it a real nice design, and most importantly is kind of eat up some of this scrap that would otherwise just probably be thrown away. So let's go take a look at the camper here. So I'll say right now, this is my absolute favorite one so far. This had exceeded my expectations in terms of how it looks, and I think it's just stunning. As far as weight, of course this is anecdotes. I have no official weight on this, nor is it completed. The interior of this is not finished yet, so when the interior is finished out, there will be some additional weight in there. But basically, just me and 2 other guys got it on this trailer. Myself and another person were able to lift up the front end, put it on the end of the trailer, and then I just had another individual in the back who helped push it on, and we slid it on there. And it turned out to be very light. I mean, I don't want to go off on a limb and say this will be the lightest one yet, but it was way lighter than I expected. Even taking into consideration the interior is not completed, I found that getting all the outside, getting the windows in and all this stuff probably amounts to 80 or 90% of the overall total weight, minus of course battery and water. But the point is, overall, from a weight standpoint, it is exceeding my expectations in terms of how heavy I thought it would be at this point. But I love the shape. We talked, I believe it was about a month ago, in a video about how I came up with this shape with the perspective of aerodynamics. I think now that it's outside the garage, you guys can see that a little bit more in depth. Now let me show you one thing that I was talking about that I don't think was very clear, and that was how the sidewalls of the main body are actually slightly angled to the inward, or toward the center at the top. So, and I think now that we look at the rear here, we can really see that, which I think is really an attractive, unique look here. But where am I at here? There you go. But you can see right here, this top part is actually narrower up here than the widest part in the bottom. And the rear end from a surface area standpoint is definitely smaller than 5.0, and I think it just looks really good. So as you guys can see, I put in some running lights on it and some tail lights in the rear, and this light right here and this light right here, I think those were a pretty cool idea. I'll get a little closer here and talk about them. So this one right here, these are just DC 12-volt lights. They're waterproof. They're meant to be put in like walkways and stuff like that outside. I thought I would use them in this application. They're not super bright. They're kind of, I would say, medium brightness. But I put one here. I'll have the in-game placard here eventually. And then of course this is down below where the outdoor kitchen will be. So the idea is you could turn on that light, and that'll provide some nice directed illumination down there to the outdoor kitchen. And let me get out of that sun there. And then I put another one up there. And this will be essentially like a, you know, kind of like an outdoor porch light, I guess you could say. And let's go ahead and jump on the inside here. Like I said, this is under construction. So it's not very exciting in here. You guys can see that I'm staging some insulated panels, which I'll put in the roof here. Before I did that, I had to wire in all the electrical for the various lights. So as you guys can see, as I normally use here, we just got the flush mount LED lights. What I'm also going to do though is that these same lights that I'm using on the outside is I'm going to stage a few in the interior. There, and then one back in this area. There will be a cabinet in this corner. And I'm going to essentially set those lights I just talked about and these lights in the ceiling as two separate circuits, just to kind of give me two lighting options. These outdoor lights, like I said, they're not super bright, and I think, you know, with them aimed down, it'll give me two really unique lighting moods in there. And, you know, like I said, if for some reason I don't like it, I just don't have to use them. But I will set them up on two separate circuits. That way I have two separate lighting options. Nothing too exciting in here, guys. I mean, it's just kind of a mess. I'll show you in there when we get a little, or I'll show you the next video. We'll cover this a little bit more in depth where we are. But just staging in the insulation now, gluing it in various positions, and just kind of moving on from there. So, but let me, before I end this video here, let me kind of show you a new product I'm going to try. Oh, before I go there, sorry. This door. I know I got to touch up that finish, which I will. I'm going to wait for a while to make sure it fits. But man, I was super pleased with how this door turned out. I basically just hand chiseled all of the hinge and the interior mounting hardware for the latch of the door and everything. I'd had some kind of a template, I guess you would say, and I would try to use a router bit thinking that would be more precise. But at the end of the day, my tool I had wasn't working, so I broke out the old hammer and chisel and just chiseled in all of this hardware. And to be honest with you, I won't go back. I really like hand chiseling. It's a little bit more work, but it turned out to produce a very precise fit. I mean, listen to this. Boom. I mean, this thing fits so tight that I don't even think I'll need to use seals around it. I mean, it's I was very pleased with how that worked out. But and I like the door. What do you guys think of the red door? I thought I'd try a little something new there, and I'm actually very pleased with it. I think it provides a nice little contrast. Okay, so back to this new product I'm going to try, and this also brings up another point. So as if you guys recall, on 6.0, the floor and the wing surfaces were composite with that XPS insulation in between. and I had recommended using this Great Stuff insulating foam or expanding foam as the glue, which is what I used, and it seemed to work the best. I was at the Lowe's the other day, and I actually saw this Great Stuff construction adhesive, and from the best I could tell, it essentially will provide the adhesive quality of the foam without the expansion. So I am going to give that a shot with all of the interior insulating panels, specifically the ones that will bond to the roof surface, and see if it works out as well, because this would be a really nice compromise to have the same adhesive strength but without all of that expansion. The only downside of this product is you have to use a special gun, which actually might be better in terms of using just the device used on the dispersion device actually used on the can. But this gun is about 50 bucks. I don't know if you guys can notice, but this would be like a normal size can here. It's a special cleaner so you can clean a gun when you're done. But these cans are larger. They're about 22 bucks. But at least from the description, it sounds like it will cover a lot more per can. So a little bit more of an investment in the tool used to disperse it, I guess you would say. But perhaps in the long run, a little bit of a less of an investment in the actual product. So I'm going to use that with some of the panels on the inside. I'll update and let you guys know how well that works. But if it does work out well, that would be a nice alternative. I will say this, and what spawned me to actually look for this product is you guys. So often I have people who view these videos. Sometimes I might make a mistake and they'll clarify it, which I really appreciate, specifically if you're friendly about it. Or you guys give me ideas of other products and things that you use, and that's exactly what spawned me to look for more of that another kind of Great Stuff. Was somebody had responded to one of my videos and advised me that they make different kinds of Great Stuff expanding foam, some of which expands at a lower rate than the one I was using. And I actually went in the store and looked into that, and that's where I found that glue. And to be honest with you, it was something I probably wouldn't have really looked into if it wasn't for you guys telling me. So I appreciate, like I said, guys, I'm not a professional, I'm not an expert, not an engineer, just a guy in the garage putting these together, doing the best I can. And it's really nice to see the community kind of helping out, giving ideas and insights for things that they may know. So keep it up, of course, like always, just try to be respectful. But thanks guys for watching, and I will keep putting out some videos, and let me know what you guys think.